everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Latanya. I am an 8th grade social studies language arts teacher in Southern California. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that the majority of my channel focuses on that kind of content. Just recently though, I have been adding some, for lack of a better term, financial videos because when 2020 was upon us, I decided to really get serious about my finances. And I am on this whole path of minimizing my spending, increasing my savings so that I can accomplish some of my financial goals. So this video is going to be for that purpose and just kind of documenting the progress that I'm making so far. So if you normally come here for teaching vlogs, this won't be that. If you're here specifically for this video and you're interested in my life as a teacher, be sure to check those videos out as well. And that was my dog Genesis that you just saw. And you might hear her in the background as well as my other dog right on cue. That was Riley. So this video is just a month in review for January. So I just started this whole mindset of focusing on low spending or reducing my spending at the very beginning of 2020, specifically January 1st. And so I am documenting my progress. Riley, pardon the dogs. So I've been documenting my progress on a week-to-week basis on Instagram through Insta stories, where I really am just doing a very condensed version of what I spend in a week. But this video is just kind of an overarching summary of how the month went, how I was feeling throughout the month, some highs, some lows, some hits, some misses. So I'm not quite sure how this video is going to be edited. I have a lot of different footage of a lot of different things, but hopefully by the end of this you're happy with what I put together. And as the year goes on, the format of these videos may evolve, but please do give me some feedback on this format because this is my first time making kind of like a month in review, and I want to make sure it's something that people are interested in seeing or find helpful or entertaining, or both. So as I was going throughout this month, I did keep notes on my phone so that I would remember like how I was feeling from day to day or week to week. So I'm just going to refer to that. I did take some clips here and there, and so I'll probably intertwine those as I'm speaking through it. But yeah, let's just reflect on my first month of really focusing on minimizing my spending and being on this low spend journey. So I kicked off the month of January with uploading the first video where I talked about my thought process when I initially thought I was going to do a no spend year, and that evolved into a low spend year. And then right after that, the next video that I uploaded, which covered the first week of January, was my what I spent in a video. So if you want a more detailed look at how that week went, be sure to check that video out. I will either include it as a card somewhere in the screen here or in the description box so that you can look at that as well. So I don't really have too much more to say about that first week because it's already been documented and uploaded. That brings us to the week of January 12th. And again, I'm just kind of looking at my notes to kind of see where I was at. So that week, typically on Sundays, I will always go to Target. So I went to Target on Sunday to get all the groceries that I needed for the week. I only shop from week to week. And when I say groceries, I'm really just talking about the groceries that I need for lunch and snacks. I don't buy groceries for dinner because that is taken care of through Blue Apron, which I'll talk about a little bit later on in this video. But I did go to Target on that Sunday, and I did get a massage at Massage Envy. So that is a subscription, for lack of a better term, that I have maintained. It costs me about $60 a month, but it is something that I just think is so worth it. I just finished getting a 90-minute massage, and I feel amazing. And I really needed it. And so I went in, I had my massage there, I left a tip, and really was still on cloud 9 in week 2 of my low spend journey. But as the week progressed, I did get to a point where I started to have a little bit of anxiety about my finances. Good morning. It is Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday, January 14th. I'm just checking in because last night I went to bed feeling defeated by my financial endeavors. So last night, I, checked my EveryDollar app, and then went and checked my actual bank account to make sure that everything is okay over there as well. And everything is fine in the sense that all my bills are paid with the exception of a couple that will come later on in the month. But the balance in my checking account was lower than what I would like to see so that I can feel comfortable. I really need this person in front of me to just make a move and make this left turn. Thank you, ma'am. Just like the amount of breathing room that I have in my checking account right now is not good enough, which gives me anxiety, which then just put me down this path of like, I can't believe at your age, like you're not doing better, that you don't have more of a cushion in there, which led to all other thoughts like you need to be better in life in general. But I'm just feeling defeated and just frustrated and all of that, but then at the same time thinking, and this is exactly why you're deciding to try and be extremely like mindful of where all your money is going and this and that. So I don't know, it was frustrating. The amount of money that I had in my checking account was just less than what I wanted to see. And what I mean by that is there just like wasn't a whole lot of a cushion. So if something were to happen, there wasn't a whole lot of wiggle room in my checking account, and it just produced a certain sense of anxiety, this certain sense of failure. You know, you're well into adulthood right now, you should have more of a cushion in your checking account. So I really just became frustrated with myself. And to get myself through that, I really did just have to remind myself that the situation really is temporary. I knew it was temporary, because I'm hyper focused on just getting better in general, and I knew that I had some other income opportunities that were going to be coming my way, one of which is I'll be filing my taxes soon, and I'm right in the middle of doing that now, and I always get a tax refund, and that'll kind of help alleviate some of that pinch that I'm feeling in my checking account. So that kind of helped me get through that feeling, but I definitely was just really feeling down on myself. The high that I was on the week before of like, yes, I'm taking charge of my finances, this is gonna be great, I'm gonna feel amazing the whole way through, just wasn't there because I was just like facing the reality of the balance of my checking account and just feeling frustrated by that. So that was one of the things that happened there. Now, because I was feeling so down on myself about my finances or lack thereof from what I perceived at the time, I took a moment to really think about, is there anything that I can do in the immediate to kind of conserve some more money, bring in some more money, whatever the case may be. And there were a couple things that I decided to do just to maintain a little bit more money in my account. And one of those things was that week I canceled my Blue Apron shipment that was supposed to come the following week. So I get a Blue Apron shipment every Tuesday, but the cost for the shipment comes out of my account every Friday morning. So like I said, I pay about $60 a week. That gets me 3 meals that are made for 2 people, and that lasts me a week, if not a little bit more. But I also knew that in my freezer, I had a few different items that I could use to make dinners out of. So I had ground beef, I had some hamburger patties in there, and I had some chicken wings in there that I still have in there. I never ended up making those. And I actually have a couple more packs of chicken breast. So I decided, let's cancel the Blue Apron order. That will help you to save $60 this week, and just make some dinners based off of the items that you already have, because one of my rules is, I can't remember exactly what rule number it is, but it really does apply less to food items and more to like makeup, superficial things that some may consider, where it just says I can't buy anymore unless I've completely run out. So I thought, well, why are you buying more food or more items for dinner when you haven't truly run out of what you have? So I did that. And I'll talk a little bit about how I feel about that decision a little bit later. And then I also canceled my cleaning service for that weekend. So I pay $65 every 2 weeks to have my house cleaned by a woman, and usually a friend of hers, and I've had her come and clean my house, or my condo I should say, since I've been here, and I've been here about 5 years. She charges me $65 to clean the whole place, but it's just me and 2 dogs, like I said, and I'm a pretty neat person. So quite often when she comes to clean, I feel like there's not a whole lot for her to clean because I really don't make that big of a mess. And I am pretty good about cleaning up after myself, so I canceled it. And that saved me another $65. And that made me feel a little bit better about myself. And then I also went back to my classroom and I had purchased something on Amazon over winter break that I was really excited about, and it was a purchase that involved 2 items. And one was a workbook of prefixes and suffixes that I was really excited about because my students need some help in that area. And then there was like a companion piece of like flashcards that went along with that. And when I ordered them on Amazon, I thought the flashcards would be much bigger. I thought that I would get more use out of them, but within the first week of, really not even the first week, the first couple of days of having access to those flashcards, as well as the workbook that goes with it, I realized I don't need the flashcards. I'm not using the flashcards. And that box of flashcards, because there were, I think 500 of them, that box of flashcards cost $55. So I ended up taking that back to Amazon to get my money back and essentially put more money in my wallet. So that was great. And then I took it another step further and did one more sweep around my classroom and said, is there anything else in here that I don't really need or I don't really use that I could either, well, really not return, because that was the only new thing I bought, that I could sell? And so I found something. I found my whiteboard. Hey everyone, it's January 15th. It's a Thursday. I'm in my classroom. For those of you that found this channel for the financial videos, just a little public service announcement that teachers don't leave at 3 o'clock. We are often here at this time of day. It's about 5:45. I'm here right now because I have a sub tomorrow. I'm making sub plans, but I wanted to share with you a financial win that I would like to report for the month. I gotta be really quiet for a second. All right, I'm back. I'm in a different environment. I had to stop filming because I was walking in an area where there were students and they can't be on camera, but I'm in my teammate's room and hopefully she doesn't mind if she watches this. But I decided, you know, in my efforts to be more financially stable, that I needed to find ways to create more income for myself. So I had this item in my classroom that I really like, but I don't use it very often, and I haven't used it very often. And I thought, well, this might be a way to make some more money. So it is this item here. This is a dry erase easel, double-sided. It was very expensive when I bought it, and I don't even want to tell you how much, but it was a few $100s. And I just sold it to a friend of mine for $125. So I'm making efforts. I'm doing everything that I can. So I just wanted to share that with you guys, but I was feeling down a couple days ago. That makes me feel a little bit better. So as much as I love that whiteboard, I decided to sell it because I don't really use it. Even when I taught elementary school, I did not use it nowhere near as much as I thought I would. And to be totally honest, that whiteboard is something that I bought because I saw another teacher with it on Instagram, and I loved her classroom and how it looked and how organized it was. And that was the whiteboard that she had. And somehow I thought, if I can just get that whiteboard, I will be more organized and just as amazing as I perceived that teacher to be. And so I bought it. And it was a pretty expensive whiteboard. I don't remember exactly how much it cost, but I want to say that it costs somewhere around close to $400 because it's magnetic, it's double-sided, it's made out of real bamboo. And so I spent a pretty penny buying that whiteboard. So I did end up selling that to a friend of mine. I listed it on Facebook Marketplace, and I sold it excuse me, I sold it for $125, which is kind of a pinch because I mean, I spent probably $400 on it, but I had to tell myself it's still gonna be $125 that you didn't have before, as opposed to you having this item sitting in your classroom virtually untouched. So I did that. And then the rest of the week, I did pretty well. That week I had no spend days, Monday through Thursday. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I didn't spend any money whatsoever. Mind you, though, I was still feeling bad about myself because my checking account balance was not as much as I wanted. And that Friday, I ended up having to spend some money because it was my brother's birthday had been a couple days prior, and that was the day, that Friday, that we decided as a family to meet up for dinner. So I went out to dinner with my family, and that was something that was planned. But I did good, and I stayed within a reasonable amount of money. I think I spent maybe $22 on dinner altogether. And that was the week of January 12th. I have been tracking my spending, and on that week I spent a total of $136.85. And that doesn't include, it says, my notes say that doesn't include my brother's gift card. So I'm not gonna include that because, you know, I just think it's like bad manners to tell the world how much of a gift card I gave my brother. But so just know I spent that week around $136 and some change. Then the week of January 19th rolled around, and just to reiterate, I didn't spend any money on Blue Apron because I was eating meals that I was creating based off of food that I already had in my refrigerator. However, what I learned with skipping my Blue Apron for that week, excuse me, not that I've not skipped Blue Apron before, but the other times I've skipped Blue Apron, it is because I have Blue Apron recipes from the previous week that I haven't gotten to, and so I'm backed up on the Blue Apron recipes. This was the first time that I skipped it because I was going to just make something that I had at home. I have been subscribing to Blue Apron, I think like 4 years at this point. And so what I realized this week is just how much I rely on Blue Apron for my meals and meal planning and having proper groceries, because as prepared as I thought I was to make the dinners that I had planned to make nachos, burgers, and I was going to cook the chicken wings and have rice. I dropped the ball with like just making sure I had everything that I needed. So I ended up having to go to the grocery store 2 times that week. And one of my rules from the low spend video is that my goal is to only go to the grocery store once, because I should make a list. I should go there, get everything that I need on the list, and have no need to go back, because the more times you go back to a grocery store, especially for me, because my grocery store is Target, the more times you go back, the more susceptible you are to do unnecessary spending just by nature of being in that environment. So I had to go a couple of times. The high of that week is that I got very proactive with just monitoring my accounts and checking my mail and checking on things, and I was able to kind of be creative with how I chose to pay things and when I chose to pay things, so I wasn't moving any money out of my emergency fund that I'm having to rebuild. So that made me feel good. It is Thursday, January 23rd. If you're interested in what is happening in my teaching life at the moment or at this present time, I have a formal observation today, which is something I believe most, if not all, teachers have to do just to prove that you still know how to teach, that you understand what is involved in a effective lesson, and why you should be able to keep your job. But this video is not really about teaching, but I just thought it would be fun to include some of that in this whole low spend process for those of you that are here just for that, just to get a glimpse into my teaching life. But I did want to jump on. I was going to film this last night, but I got busy. Last week I had a low moment where I felt like things, while I'm making strides in the right direction, like the amount of money in my accounts is a little too low for my liking, which is still the case. I didn't come into money since then. But what I am appreciating is in this process and in this these efforts that I'm making to be better financially, is I am being more proactive about things and really forcing myself to sit down at least every couple of days and take a look at my accounts and follow up on things that I need to follow up on and all of that. And not that I wasn't doing that at all before. I think just my personality as a teacher and the demands of teaching, just generally speaking, on your day, those things were all taking a backseat to things I needed to accomplish and get done for my teaching life. So phone calls I needed to make, follow-ups I needed to do, opportunities I needed to create for myself were falling by the wayside, because I was just really, I'm going to go ahead and say that 99.9% of my energy and time was devoted to my life as a teacher and my responsibilities as a teacher and all of that, because I do enjoy what I do. I do think I'm passionate about it, but it was happening at the fault of like my personal life in terms of like finances, creating opportunities for myself, etc. So like, for example, this week I had to take some initiative and call AAA. AAA owes me some money because I had to buy a battery to replace the battery I had bought from them that was under warranty. So I had to call them to follow up and say, hey, it's been a month, I haven't heard anything back. And then they got on it, and they should be sending me my reimbursement check. It should be in the mail within the next couple of days, and I should get it soon thereafter. And then just honestly, I like just checking my accounts and making sure I know what's coming out, what has come out, what isn't coming out, and being creative with my finances if I need to. So like this past week with just my accounts being lower than what I wanted, I got creative with some financial things that I needed to take care of. And so I made some phone calls, made some arrangements, and instead of being stressed like in the past prior to this newfound journey that I'm on, I would have just been stressed and anxious about it and internalizing all of it and just kind of almost like, well, I'm just gonna see what happens and hopefully everything will be okay. Whereas this time I'm like, no, that has caused some problems for me in the past and has caused me undue stress. So let's just make some phone calls, do what you need to do, and see if you can arrange things in a different way to kind of accommodate what you need to have happen this month. And I did, and I feel much better about it. And I don't know that I would have done that had I not decided to kind of take on this process with my spending. So I feel really good about that, and I'm very happy with myself for doing that. So, you know, last week I felt down. Didn't feel hopeless, I just felt down. Like I knew in the grand scheme of things this was all going to be for the good. But this week I'm feeling much more optimistic, and I've created some opportunities for myself to earn some extra income, so I think that's helped. My Teachers Pay Teachers store is starting to pick up a little bit, not a ton. I'm by no means like a force to be reckoned with on Teachers Pay Teachers, but I feel like my name is now, or my store is getting some recognition, and people are seeing my products and buying them, and so that's encouraging. And just this process with sharing this with you guys and all the positive support with the couple of videos that I've uploaded so far has been very encouraging. And I don't know, I just feel very supported and very optimistic at the moment, and I'm going to hope that that maintains itself throughout all of this. I will say over the weekend there was a moment where I really just wanted to buy something, and in that process I realized how freely in some ways, or how mindlessly I would just buy things. Not a lot, but when I say I wanted to buy something, like I really just wanted to go to Starbucks and buy this really cute coffee mug for Valentine's Day. And for a split second I forgot that I'm on this whole low spend thing, and so I was like, I'm gonna go later today and just go buy that. Now mind you, I have about in total 5 coffee mugs like this, plus another 4 Turvis mugs, if anybody knows what those are, but it's another style of mug, so I don't need another coffee mug. On top of that, the coffee mug is Valentine's Day themed, so it's not even like I could carry that mug in August and feel appropriate. So I had to remind myself, no, you don't get to just go up and buy something because you want to. You have to think about the rules that you've set for yourself. You have to ask yourself, why are you trying to buy it? You need to recognize that you don't need it and save yourself the 20 some odd dollars it would have been. So in that moment I was like, oh, Latanya would have just gone and got it and found some way to justify it and just been like, oh, it's only $20. So that's progress. But anywho, so that was a good feeling. Then that brings us to this very last week of January, the week that I just ended yesterday. This week, I really feel like I was off. Like by last night was kind of disappointed in myself. I ate out multiple times in the week. So for my budget, I budget about $40 to be allotted to eating out, which is not a lot, and it's purposely not a lot. But I ate out at Waba Grill because I needed something in order to make the chicken wings. Like I don't believe in eating baked chicken wings. So I wanted the chicken wings to be fried, but I didn't have flour. I didn't have vegetable oil. And my rationale was it's going to be just as expensive, if not a little bit cheaper, for me to get a chicken and rice bowl at Waba Grill. So I went there and that cost me about $7 and some change. I did buy 2 books for my classroom. However, that falls within my rules, because my rules are, one of my rules is that I can buy or make purchases for my classroom as long as I feel like it enhances me as an educator. These 2 books that I bought, I believe will do that, because they focus on multiculturalism and Black History Month. And when I made that return to Amazon the week prior, for some reason, Amazon gave me most of the refund back in cash. But then $13 worth of it was in a gift card, and I'm not 100% sure why, because I don't recall making any of that purchase using a gift card, but I didn't have the energy to contact them and ask why. So I used the gift card to buy the books. So out of pocket, I only ended up spending about $5 and some change on those 2 books. But again, my notes say I spent way too much money eating out, because then on Wednesday I ate out again and spent about $28. And this whole past week I've just felt very overwhelmed, off my game for lack of better terms. So cooking wasn't really happening. I was eating sandwiches for dinner or eating out. And that is the week that I realized I just need Blue Apron in my life. Budgetary wise, stress wise, like lifestyle wise, it just works best for me to not have to think about what I'm going to cook, to not have to think about the ingredients and the recipes that I need to cook the thing I think I'm gonna cook. And that's just the bottom line. Like, I need to keep it, and I think it's very cost effective for me. And that was, and I think yesterday I didn't write down how much I spent the week prior, but I think it was somewhere around $150 is what I spent the week of January 19th, excuse me. But last week, because I just sent this to I just added this to my Insta stories yesterday, I spent $221 and some change, I think. And then even after I uploaded that Insta story or shared that Insta story or whatever the proper term is, I ended up buying a chicken quesadilla for dinner, which was $6 and some change. So last week was not my best, but I do have to tell myself not every week is going to go smoothly. You are gonna have highs and lows, and you're gonna make some mistakes here and there, and so I have to just be willing to forgive myself for that. So I'm working on it, but I was frustrated with myself. As far as the month in general, I did jot down some things that I felt were wins for myself. So I was able to restart my emergency fund. I've had an emergency fund before, but it has since been depleted. So I was able to get that restarted with $100. And my goal when I put that $100 in there at the beginning of the month was I do not want to have to take any of this money out, because that's how tight things were getting. Because in the past couple months, I've had to just purchase a lot of things or take care of some repairs, such as getting a battery for my car, the dryer needed to be fixed. So it just kind of ate away at the money that I did have. So that was a win, was to be able to put the $100 in my emergency fund and not have to take any of it out. Another win for me is I am active on social media, as you obviously know, through YouTube and Instagram, and oftentimes those bring opportunities to work with different companies or different brands. So I was in contact with a brand that I will be doing some work for in the coming months that will bring in some extra income, so that's always a positive thing. And I think, and also just a win that's not on my notes is just having such a positive experience with just taking the first steps to sharing this process with people that I know and people that I don't know. It's been a very supportive environment. There's been a couple weird comments here and there, but overall everyone's been great. As far as my losses speaking, I'm looking at the Every Dollar app, and that was something I was supposed to mention in this video. So many of you, after I did my first video, which was the no spin / low spin video, I talked about using Every Dollar and how it was $130 to have the version of it where everything from your bank account is just automatically added on here, and how I had to agitated I was by that cost. And then I've had so many of you either comment directly on that video or send me a message through Instagram telling me about the Mint app, which I've heard of before, and I think I actually tried to use it years ago. And so it must be good because so many people have mentioned it. I think everyone's mentioned it, but then people have also mentioned that it's not the most streamlined thing to use, or it's a little bit cumbersome. And so I appreciate that. But what I have decided to do is I'm gonna stick to using the EveryDollar app, but I am using the free version of it. The only issue is just having the discipline to get on here and add things in on a regular basis. So like every couple of days I try and go on and add things. I know I think I may have missed a transaction here or there, but for the most part I've been pretty good. But one of the things that I consider a loss or room for growth or improvement is if I look at my budget right now, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 categories that I went over budget on, which means I need to adjust. Like what I had put in or budgeted for is not necessarily accurate, so I need to go back and kind of look at my spending and maybe adjust it, reevaluate the reality of how much I'm spending in these categories. And these were not like frivolous things. These were all categories where the money had to be spent. So that's something that I need to work on for sure. And I don't really know that I put down anything else as a loss or as a or a room for growth. I just said over budget in multiple categories, like I just said. And as I mentioned earlier, just not having a lot of breathing room in my checking account, but I know that will change. So all in all, I'm satisfied with my first month of progress. I know it's a work in progress. I feel like I'm on the right path. I feel like I know what I need to do, and it's just a matter of me buckling down and getting it done. I do feel like I have some opportunities that will be available to me down the way. I think I've mentioned I've opened up a Teachers Pay Teachers store, and I'm starting to see some growth there, and that's great. And hopefully brands continue to find me through social media, and if they feel like what I'm putting out there as an educator is something they want to work with, and then I continue to have those kind of opportunities coming in and out. But all in all, I'm feeling pretty good about things. So if you like the format of this video, let me know. If you have any suggestions, let me know. If you just enjoyed watching it, let me know by giving it a thumbs up. At some point, I do plan on taking the time to look down at all of my expenses, like household wise and everything, and breaking that down and sharing like the cost of living for me week to week based on those numbers. I just didn't have a chance to do that with this video, but that is something that I would like to do down the line. If you guys have any other ideas for me to incorporate in these videos, please let me know. And if you just want to support me in this process, just give this video a thumbs up or leave a comment of encouragement, and I will greatly appreciate it. But aside from that, I hope you're doing well. If you want to keep track of how I'm doing on a week-to-week basis, again, make sure you check me out on Instagram. I upload a story regarding how much I spent in that week every Friday evening-ish. And then these videos will happen on a monthly basis. So that was my month of January. I will be sure to see you guys in February, and I'm hoping to be able to report some more positive news and positive progress. And if you're on the journey with me, best of luck to you in February, and I will see you in a month. See you guys later.